Supplemental math videos from Circle Christian School.
The Quadrilateral Test Study Guide. Special shapes in their products. Know the shape, know what it does. Things either equal each other because of what the shape does, or they add up to equal something. In most cases, it will be 180 degrees. However, in a polygon, it is whatever the degree of all the angles equal. 3 important polygon formulas. The sum of all the polygon angles. These are the ones that are connected to the sides. The sum equals the number of sides minus 2 times 180. Now, if you just want one angle of an equilateral polygon, that means it's a regular polygon, all the sides and all the angles are equal, you take the first formula and you just divide by the number of sides. Now, if you have an angle in the center of the polygon, because maybe you're trying to find an apothem, then it's 360 divided by n, and it gives you that middle angle. Also, the exterior angles, that's the angles on the outside of the polygon, always equal up to 360 degrees also. Let's start with some of our special quadrilaterals, like parallelograms. Here's the things that make a parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel. So you always have these transversals going through. Opposite sides are always congruent. The opposite angles are congruent. Consecutive angles, that's angles that are one after another, are supplementary and equal 180 degrees. The diagonals bisect each other. They make a midpoint. So if your polygon is in a coordinate plane, you can always use the midpoint formula. If you need to know how big a side is, use the distance formula. Squares and rectangles are parallelograms also, but they have 90-degree angles. A square's diagonals are perpendicular. A square is also known as a rhombus. So all the properties of a parallelogram goes with these. A rhombus is a special parallelogram. The angles are not 90 degrees, but the sides are all congruent. The diagonals meet at 90 degrees. They're bisected, which also means that they're perpendicular. Trapezoids are a triangle with the top cut off. It has just one set of parallel lines, the top line and the bottom line, known as base 1 and base 2. An isosceles trapezoid has congruent base angles, and the consecutive angles, that is ones that follow each other right next to each other, are supplementary and equal 180 degrees. If you cut a trapezoid totally in half and give it a mid-segment, the formula for finding the middle is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2. If you have a top and a middle, just use the formula to find the missing base. A kite has 2 top congruent sides and 2 bottom congruent sides. There are no parallel lines in a kite. The diagonals are perpendicular. They make right triangles. Now, because they make right triangles, you have actually 8 different triangles in here that have a base and they have a height. And because we can add area together, you can find the area of any triangle here and then add them together to find the area of a kite. These are good formulas to know with quadrilaterals. A square. The area equals the sides squared. Rectangle. Area equals length times width. Parallelogram. Area equals the base times the height. To find the height of a parallelogram, you have to think about a right triangle. A lot of times you'll use the Pythagorean theorem here. A kite. The area equals 1/2 the diagonal times the other diagonal. An equilateral triangle, the area equals the side squared times the square root of 3, all divided by 4. Be careful when you use your calculator here. Trapezoid, the area equals 1/2 the height times the first base plus the second base. A lot of times the height of a trapezoid also makes a right triangle, and you may use the Pythagorean theorem here. The area of a polygon is 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter of the triangle. Of the perimeter of the polygon. You can find the area of one of the triangles and then just add them together inside the polygon to do it that way. A segment from the center of the polygon to the opposite side is the apothem. Remember when doing this to take out the isosceles triangle and then take out the right triangle. All right, know your shapes and you'll know what to do with them.